today. We got a good one today. I'm excited about this young brother here because not only is he humble, anointed, and gifted, but yet and still he has time just to speak to little old us on
Yes,
this
yes,
morning
yes.
here on GOD Radio, 21 countries, BDS, award winning. I tell you, Robert L. Dean, who do we have with us today?
Well, let me tell y'all, this gentleman here has gained so much respect from me. I reached out to him. Yeah, I reached out to him, and he was so kind-hearted and so humble. And for all you listeners that are up and coming artists, producers, singers, songwriters, humility and integrity will take you further than your talent. You can go to the corner and find somebody that can sing and play. That's an alcoholic or drunk, to be honest. But when you have integrity, God takes that and he puts his special touch with the anointing, and then the world will hear about you. This young man is a producer, he's an artist. He can do anything that he wants to do when he want to do it. None other than Mr. Shaun Martin. Good morning, brother.
Brother Shaun, can you hear us?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Man, we blessed. We blessed.
I can hear you. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you. Yes.
Yeah.
So I can't see y'all. I gotta find it.
Wait.
Okay, here we go.
You okay?
Yeah. Such a pleasure to be. Is that better?
Yeah. Okay, we had lost you for a minute, but we got you back. All right. So first of all, I want to start off by saying
Oh,
that
okay. All right.
that we Robert O'Dean. I don't know about the introduction. You was like a drunk and everything. I'm like,
Well, I'm just making it clear to people that God has so much talent all over this world,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of times we feel like we are the only one and we are the one and only.
Okay.
God can use anybody. That's the point I was making.
Okay, I was like sitting up here like I'm like the brother ain't in rehab. He
No,
coming.
we ain't talking about him. I said listeners.
I'm just messing with
Okay, all right. He's starting already. Yes.
you. Well, what's happening, brother Shaun?
Not too much, man. Very, very glad to be on y'all show. This is definitely an honor and a treat. Brother Robert said something that was very important. Your humility and your character. And when he reached out to me, he was very, very, very humble. Great spirit. I've been moving around. It's funny. I've been moving around so much during this pandemic where you're supposed to sit still. I've been sitting still, but still moving around. So, but I'm glad we're able to connect this time,
Right.
On this show. So definitely glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I'm gonna start off right off the bat, and just I want to explain to me the room ambiance. I see a little green going on with a little flickering light in the background. I'm feeling that. I'm about ready to change my whole studio up just so I can flow with you and turn off the light. Turn off the lights. Yeah. So talk about the energy that and where you at in your house.
Light a candle. I got candles too.
Oh, he got candles too.
He's creating an ambiance when you're creative.
Yeah. It's really just kind of part of my creative space. I used to just have just regular lights up, and then I kind of started changing the lights according to my mood. So, I have a 1-year-old son who likes the different color lights. So he normally comes in and says, lights. So, I just kind of leave everything off.
Well, I'm going to say, since it's green in the room, I guess this is a money day.
It's money sign.
Let's do
money
money
sign.
day. Yeah.
We prophesying.
Yes, praise the Lord. Let it be an overflow.
Overflow. Overabundance of.
Overflow. I'm with it.
Amen. So, brother, your accolades and what they say, your dossier precedes you. It's just amazing. Can you just share with us how you first got started in music?
Sure. Well, I first started out playing piano when I was like about 4 years old, and my mom decided to put me in like classical lessons and theory, so I kind of get gain an understanding of it. So I started out playing, when I was a kid, and I always played at church, because just as much as I love Bach and Beethoven, I always loved the Hawkins and the Tommies and Andre Crouch. So So, there was always this, humongous dichotomy for me. But I was wanting to play. So, like I said, I played all through, high school, college. And it was when I was in high school that I was introduced to a community choir that started here in Dallas, Texas, called God's Property.
Oh.
And so from the God's Property days, we would go to Bobby Jones and do all of that stuff. And it was so much fun. We were high schoolers. So when my last year in high school, we would do these Six Flags. I don't know if they still do them now, but like Six Flags gospel concerts, right?
Right.
And so God's Property, we would sing, with Kirk Franklin and the family. And so that's how we kind of started to mess around, And so after we did a few of those, they decided to do the record, God's Property record, which was Stomp and all that stuff.
Right.
After that, everything just kind of spiraled up, if you will. I played with Vanessa Bell Armstrong for a long time. Of course, touring with Kirk, you end up playing with Donnie, and Yolanda and Israel and Marvin and all that. And so we just kept going. And then I started co-producing Kirk's records like around 2005. Right. So the first one that I actually co-produced with him was the Hero album. And then from there, we just kind of, maintained a great relationship as friends, as well as a great working relationship. And we're just trying to, keep it going.
Do you remember the last time you were here in San Diego?
Ooh, for gospel?
Yes.
I feel because I feel like I do. But wasn't that with the Long Live Love tour or?
Yeah, I think that if I'm not mistaken, I think you came here to play the fair with Kirk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where I first met you. I'm the producer of that, and I remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember your face now. I said I met that dude right here when Kirk came.
So you worked with Bobby Sparks too? You guys worked together?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Bobby's like my big brother. So Bobby was playing with Kirk first.
Right.
When it all started, Bobby started out first, and then Bobby started playing like more jazz stuff, Marcus Miller and Roy Hargrove, and so I just kind of stayed in, and then I started playing all the jazz stuff myself, or with Snarky Puppy, or so just kind of. And that's what I was saying. Like the last time I played gospel, because I played jazz at what's the name of this in. Ocean something.
It was up in Solana Beach. What is that?
You talking about the I go there for concerts. Keep talking.
Yeah, I know exactly what you want because part of my staff was at that concert, and they hit me up and they're like,
okay.
"Have you heard Snarky Puppy?" I'm like, "Snarky what?" But they were like saying, "You gotta hear."
Yeah.
And literally they called me and they actually put the phone up and said, "We got to get these folks for Jazz at the Creek." But they were up there, belly up. Yeah, the Belly Up Tavern.
Yeah, everybody's been through there.
Belly up. That's right.
There you go. Yeah.
Now,
Belly Up Club.
So you went to this legendary high school with Myron Butler and with my cousin that I met you through. Let's talk about your high school experience because that high school choir, which later became God's Property, talk about that early beginning part.
Right. So yes, you're absolutely correct. So God's Property basically started from all of us who we all went to high school together. Myron Butler, Robert C. Wright, Andrea Wallace, Gordon Pope, that's Rob's cousin. I mean, it was so many of us because before it was God's Property, it was called New Deliverance, right? And New Deliverance was really just a spinoff of the gospel choir that Arts Magna already had. So the name of the school is called Booker T. Washington High School for Performing and Visual Arts. BTW HSPBA, but we just call it Arts Magnet, right?
Right.
So at Arts Magnet, we would play, and it would be so much fun. We would go to Arts Magnet. School started at 9:15. It was nothing for us to get to school at 7:00 in the morning, just to play, just to practice, just to be around each other.
Wow.
And then school let out at 4:15. We wouldn't get home by 10:00 at night.
Wow.
We just want to play. We want to vibe. We want, write songs and create, and it was just such a positive energy that I honestly, even in my old age now, like, I still miss it. Because of course, iron sharpens iron. So when you're around people that do what you do,
Mm-hmm.
and that love what you love and do what you do, it makes you want to be better.
Right.
And that was the whole thing about it. But I mean, when you talk about Arts Magnet, you talk about, a lot of those kids, like the Myron Butlers, a lot of those kids were Michael Terrell students. Michael Terrell was a phenomenal choir director here in Dallas, Texas. Legendary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, legendary. And so he was really, he's really instrumental in forming a lot of these students' musical IQ,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of them were, and Michael Terrell had the gospel choir. He had the thing rock, but Michael Terrell was also Mr. Music at a church. So there was only so much they could do.
Right.
And so then they started doing things outside, and this lady named Linda Seawright, who was Robert Seawright's mom. She, she kind of started overseeing the whole New Deliverance thing. And then, that kind of, it's time, time is the best equalizer. So people started graduating.
Right.
People started doing, go to college. I know, I remember Myron Butler he left and went to Morehouse, and it was like, oh man, like that's when you start realizing, like, hey, everybody's kind of getting older.
Right.
he left and went to Atlanta. So, went from that to, to the God's Property phase. But a lot of that just came from, Arts Magnet. And Arts Magnet is a school that produces legendary talent like Roy Hargrove, Nora Jones, Erykah Badu, wow. Edie Brickell. It's like, that's like, like it was nothing to go to school and like Wynton Marsalis is walking down the hallway,
wow.
Or, I mean, it was just, that was like the everyday thing because people will come to, Take Six, George Benson. I can name this list forever,
Well, let me ask you this question, and I want you to dispel this rumor, true or not true, that when it came down to working with Kirk Franklin, that a couple of y'all got together and y'all had a bullying session. Where Kirk came in and he thought he was gonna write a song and play, and as he started writing the song, y'all all bumped him off the instruments and just started killing the song. And he looked at y'all and say, "Okay, we got to be friends." Now, is that how it all happened?
Don't believe that, Shaun.
y'all bullied him with your talent.
Actually, Kirk is. No, man, no. Kirk is actually phenomenal talent in his own. I mean, he can play. He can't sing, but he can play.
Right.
But
right.
But actually, the funny part about it is, and I don't really know how this happened, but there was God's Property in Dallas.
Right.
Mm.
Then in Fort Worth, you had this choir called MDM and Voices. I don't know if you know who Myron Williams is. Williams is
that's Fred Williams'
singer,
nephew.
songwriter, singing.
His uncle was Skeeter, Fred Williams.
That's right. That
was my musician in college.
Just recently passed away. Oh, really?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
See how small the world is.
Yes.
That's why you got to treat everybody right.
Come on.
But yeah, they were like, the thing about it is that they were Fort Worth and we were Dallas. But I mean, we don't it's like no animosity, but
right.
It's just different circles.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas Kirk who's from Fort Worth, he would always come to Dallas because the circles were different.
Right.
And we would always go hang out in Fort Worth because the circles were different.
Right.
There's no animosity. It was different.
Right.
So I don't really know how the whole thing and Myron kind of had his own. Myron Williams, like they were already phenomenal talent. And Myron and DeMarcus, they could all sing. Like sing.
Right.
So it's kind of like, with God's Property, we were a bunch of high school kids. you know. But now, man, no, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, you know, push Kirk out for the instrument. You know, for one, he's too small. He might fight back.
That was him.
So,
That was LT. He always coming up with something. Don't pay him no attention. Now, a friend of mine, has a question. He said, "How does a musician be put in a position to get placements on a larger scale? How do they position themselves to be called to play for different things outside of the regular church or, you know, that kind of thing?"
I mean, it really just boils down to relationships. I mean, you know, I've been able to do things, you know, just based off of relationships, you know, because, you know, people want to work with people that they know, and people want to refer people that they can trust.
Right.
So, you know, so a lot of times really just, you know, finding the people who do what you do. Mm-hmm. You know, that was a beautiful thing about Arts Magnet, because everybody did what you did. Mm-hmm. So it was easy to say, "Are you the bass player? You know, I'll call so, or you need a drummer, I'll call so and so, or you call so," you know, because I could trust these people and I can refer them. So, you know, but a lot of it is just built on relationships. And I try to tell cats all the time, you know, you're not going to build all your relationships within the four walls of the church.
Correct.
Like, you're going to have to get out and go to, go to functions. You can go to functions and meet people and still be saved.
Oh, of course.
Or you can go to conferences, you know, or what's the thing that ASCAP does? I hear music.
Yeah.
Or, you know, that kind of stuff.
Or like a NAM. You can go to like a NAM because everybody's at NAM.
Or NAM. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. You know, because it's all about networking. Now, right. The one thing you do have to do is check your character, check your personality, because nobody wants to be around somebody that's going to nag them to death trying to get a gig.
Right.
You know, and not being funny. You know, sometimes it's best to create your own gig, create your own movement, create your own way, because I guarantee you, if you build it, they will come.
Yes, sir.
You know,
your own movement.
So, you know, but it's mainly built off of relationships.
So let me ask you this question. You know, my program director just hit me up and said, zoom in on his face. We want to see his face and everything like that. You know, in other words, was she saying that she don't look at me and Robert? There you go. No,
right.
But here's one of the things I want to ask you. Because this is Industry Monday, we wanted to have you on to kind of sow into these younger musicians. Mm-hmm. As a musician, I played for 16 years professionally before I retired. Let's talk about preparation before the rehearsal, because so many people think rehearsal is for learning the song. Can you talk about the prep before you go to rehearsals?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of times, so that's for me, it's a two-sided question. Because I was minister of music at French West Baptist Church for I was there for a long time. I was there for 20 years. I was minister of music for like 14 of those years. Right. Mm-hmm. And so as a musician, the prep was, listen to the song at the house, learn the chords, learn the lyrics or whatever, and then, go to rehearsal, and hopefully everybody's done the same thing. And if not, you just end up spending more time in rehearsal, learning the same thing that you could have learned at home. So now you're at your, 30-minute rehearsal really turns into like 2 hours. Everybody's trying to learn at the same time. Right. Now, once I became a minister of music and I had to start dissecting gospel songs, it took more time, and it took more preparation. Meaning I would literally have to sit and listen to stuff over and over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And as a minister of music, what I would also have to do is a lot of times I would have to go back and check lyrics and not necessarily what they're saying as it relates to like diction, but make sure, because all gospel songs that are written aren't biblical.
Correct.
They sound good and they feel good. Correct. But they have no Bible base to it. And so we love to say, the Bible says if I had 10,000 tongues, the Bible doesn't say that. That's a poem. You know, it's like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's you got to go back and make sure that what you're feeding the congregation, especially, if you got a dope, pastor that can really, really exegete, you got to make sure that that what you're bringing to the table is going to be just as great as what he's serving people. So, but that preparation time, like I say, for me, and then there's a third part, because I'll say I'm perfect pitch. So sometimes I listen to stuff like one time as I'm driving to rehearsal in the car, and I have it. It's very unfair for most people, but but hey,
It is what it is.
Blame God. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So let's go into your, I don't even want to call it secular. I want to say let's go into your expanded career in jazz and other genres of music. How did you start? What motivated you to go that route, and how do you still rep the kingdom while you're still doing all that?
Well, like I said, in my house was a huge dichotomy. My mom would always be playing, everything gospel. She would play, I mean, you name it, we had it. Mm-hmm. As far as gospel music, she would always play everything. Y'all remember choir TMS?
Yeah, TMS.
TMS choir.
Yeah, they were on Command Records. And Tommy Young was on that.
They just came to my mind because I just remember. She sure was. Mm-hmm. I remember my mom playing like TMS upstairs, and then my dad had been playing like John Coltrane downstairs. So it's like, I mean, that was but that was my life.
The best of both worlds.
But the best of both worlds. But I always loved that. Like I always loved, I always loved jazz. I always loved, the free form jazz. I always loved, the expression, the instrumentation, instrumentalists. I always loved that, as well as, gospel, because gospel's on feature soul.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, TMS popped in my head because I miss choir records.
Yes.
I miss those. I still remember going to the store, and buying, a New Edition album and an LA Mass album.
Oh yes.
that was me.
Yes, sir.
So I've always loved, all of it, and I didn't really start to dig in as far as a player until like high school, because I was in jazz combo in high school. Mm-hmm. And then, because of the jazz combo in high school, I ended up getting a scholarship to college playing jazz piano, and I actually met a lot of the people that are in Snarky Puppy in college.
Wow.
So that's kind of how all of that started. And so I've always played jazz. I always played jazz, and I've always played, played in church. But I think that one of the things that has always kind of kept me rooted in the faith was that I never stopped believing. Mm-hmm. It's music, and I'll never forget when I first this is a funny story. When I first started playing like in jazz clubs, I was relatively young. Both of my parents were retired from General Motors. They, there's a General Motors plant here in Texas, in Arlington, and so I asked my mom. So I was like, a lot of times in, not necessarily the church that I grew up in, but churches I would go visit or frequent, with friends, whatever, and the pastor was like, don't go to so-and-so, you're going to go to hell.
Right.
And so, it's like, now here I am, a high school student, and I'm trying to make a little money before I get ready to go to college.
Right.
And I'm trying, because the church was cool, but it's like I'm trying to stack bread.
Right.
Trying to play smart. So like, hey man, I got this jazz gig at this restaurant. You want to come do it? And I got this jazz gig. I was like, okay, cool. But I kind of started feeling some kind of way because of everything that everybody was saying before.
How we were taught.
Because of how we were dangerously taught. Mm-hmm. So so it was one of those things. It was like, man, I asked my mom. I was like, I don't really know how to feel about, doing this. She was like, are you maintaining your integrity when you go to these places? Like, yeah, because I never wanted to have my mom out there to have her name out there bad.
Right.
I didn't want to have my father's name out there bad.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I try to maintain, and then she told me, she said, man, I'm gonna tell you, I work at General Motors. We build Cadillacs. We build Cadillacs for preachers. We build Cadillacs for pimps.
Right.
At the end of the day, we still build Cadillac. It's like, you know what? Got it.
Well, the thing about it is, when you think about the origin of gospel music, Thomas A. Dorsey was a jazz and blues musician.
That's right.
So there will be a correlation of the two. So when you hear one, you're going to hear the other one because of the foundation of quote unquote gospel music. And everything God made, he made good. We're the ones who pollute and make things bad.
That's right. That's right.
So let me ask you this question. Being a former musician myself, and Robert being a current gospel artist, how do you balance off doing what you do and also I'm not going to call them groupies, but fan base that are very strongly attracted to you? How do you balance that off? Because a lot of times we find in the church especially, there is this weakness that sometimes mess up the musicians.
Yeah, they call altos. That's the big no. I mean, I had to learn. I had to learn. I had to learn. Don't play where you pray. That's the first thing.
Right.
I did. Because there is a certain element of attractiveness to brother musician. And brother musician, he get lonely too.
Right.
And then you got Sister Alto who come in and she see brother musician and she think he cute, and then she start bringing brother musician cakes and pies.
Right.
Then she start come over for Sunday dinner. Then and you have to learn, and I think to this day, one of the greatest things that I ever did was get married. That's one of the greatest things that I ever did. For one, it made me centered. Right? Because now, my life, my world is on the other side of this door.
Right.
My wife in there, she's in there working and everything too. And this is the longest I've been home ever. But during this time I also realized how much I love her too.
Right.
So, but yeah, they coming. They coming at church, they coming at clubs, they coming at grocery stores, because nobody wants to be lonely. So everybody's always, looking and lurking, but you do have to balance it. And a lot of it has to do with, character decisions. Again, do I want to be the person out there, that's Novella Martin's son, he got 27 kids.
Come on,
in 15
different
countries.
mamas.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, I can't go out like that.
Right. Now I have a question. If you had your own label, and you may have it, and you could choose any singer, dead or alive, who would you put on your label and why?
Ooh.
Take your time.
No one.
It could be anybody, dead or alive. And this is Shaun's label.
Yeah. And you don't have to say my name, it's okay.
Yeah, don't say his name.
You don't have to say my name.
Let him say, let him do what he do. Praise him.
Well, I'll tell you this. From a superstar standpoint, I don't really know, because it's so many people. But I know on a not even a local standpoint or anything, but on a pretty much like even scale, there is one record that I started that I absolutely have to finish, because I feel like this person's voice is so powerful that the world really needs to hear this woman, like on her own terms, like, and that would be Nikki Ross. Nikki Ross to me is probably one of the coldest singers and keyboard players that I've ever come encounter with. And I feel like, for one, if I had a label, I would definitely sign her. And that's, like I said, that's just on some,
And that's Houston's own.
stuff.
She's Houston's own, you guys. If you don't know who she is, she's been with Ricky Dillard. She used to sing with Kirk Franklin as well. Nikki ain't nothing nice.
Yeah, yeah. Nikki's a monster. Nikki is a bona fide monster. Sad part about it is I won't ever tell Nikki that. I would never tell her that. But I mean, but she's a phenomenal talent, and I just feel like she really needs to. So we were actually talking about finishing her record, but it was hard. It's hard to get in the studios now. Like if you don't own it, it's hard to get into them because everybody's socially distant.
Correct.
And so that's one of the things that's kind of killing everything right now. Like if you own a studio, you can go to your own studio.
Right.
You're cool, but if you don't own one, it's hard to get into one. So
you produced her?
Like I said, she's down in Houston. I'm in Dallas.
You produced her? So you started on her album?
I'm producing some stuff on her album.
Oh, because I remember she was starting.
But we started a long. We started a long time ago, and we just never finished it. But I am making it a point to finish her album.
Okay, so who
else? Because
keep going.
You don't want to sound like the Princes and the Michael Jacksons and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's your label, and what you can do is put them in different brackets. You can have your jazz section, you can have your gospel section, you can have your R&B section. It's your label.
Yeah, that's true. I would probably, definitely Donny Hathaway.
Okay,
absolutely.
On.
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
Yeah, definitely Donny. From a jazz standpoint, I would say, and the reason why I say Donny is because I think that Donny was a genius. Like I think Donny Hathaway was a sheer genius, but I think him being around, people like Curtis Mayfield or doing that just opened up like a whole other thing for him. Let me see, jazz wise, I don't know, jazz, it'd be so many people. Especially, all the heroes that I listen to.
Layla.
Oh yeah, definitely Layla. Yeah, that's without question.
Right.
That's my sister.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna jump in and make it a little bit easier. I'm gonna shift the conversation because you got so much in your head. I want you to take this time because you made a statement that you have been home more than you've ever been in life, and you saw how much you love even more so your wife. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity just to shout out your wife right now and let everybody know the dopeness that you got going on.
Oh yeah, I'm married to the lovely Mrs. Monica Wilson Martin. Hey girl, and we got married we met in 2004. We got married in 2012. And we've been rocking ever since. Rocking ever since 2004. So, we've been in this thing. The one thing the pandemic has taught people, it's taught people how to love again, and it also taught people that you can't stand these people. It's like because some people are married to people that they can't stand. Seriously, and now they're just now realizing it because they're having to spend time. And over the course of time, people change. What was important to you in 2005 might not be important to you anymore in 2020.
Right.
So it's like where's the balance? Where's the adjustment? But I've been really, really fortunate to to love a person that I like. If that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
And I'm in love with a person that I like. Like I like being around my wife. I like being able to have a conversation about something other than music. I like being able to, just hang and chill and eat and laugh and cry and argue.
Right.
But respectfully, or agree to disagree a lot of times. So and it respectfully.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you about this young prince that you said come in. You only have one child, or do you have multiple children?
I have one. I have one child. His name is Harlem, and he is definitely a tornado. He's,
Won't they
he's
change
a
your
tornado.
life? Won't they change your life?
Yes.
Let me ask you this question, and it said I'm gonna be done with it. The craziest thing for me is my mother used to always say she loved to hear the little patter of little feet, and I never got that until I actually heard it. It is the most amazing sound that you can ever hear, especially when they're coming towards you.
That's right. That's right. Or when they're trying to jump off the stairs. It's a very amazing sound. Yeah, it is. It's like you hear that little, you hear that little, pattern, and now he's starting to form not even forming words. He's starting to put sentences together. So, but he knows his colors, like he can come in here and name every color that's going off in this room.
Wow.
I mean, ABCs counts to 20. It's a beautiful thing. It definitely changed my perspective on a lot of stuff.
Now I got a question. Brother, keep going. I'm sorry. What you were saying?
Go ahead.
I was just sitting here, and we have people from all over the world listening and watching. If there was somebody on here right now that was going to end their life after listening to your interview, what could you say to them to encourage them or to give them hope? It just dropped in my spirit while you were talking.
Man, I don't really know what I could say other than, of course, don't do it, but I do know that the one thing I have learned in my, short 40 plus years of living is that, it gets greater. It's almost kind of like who was at the preacher sermon the other day? The blessing is in the through. Mm-hmm. The blessing, the lesson and the blessing is in the through. So you got to, get through it. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely say, don't negate your through, because it does get better. The one thing about, being a producer, doing music and everything, it's like, everybody sees the victories, mm-hmm. but they don't see the battle scars. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't see the wounds. They don't see the times where, I can only get a yes after I've had 37 no.
Come on.
So it makes the yes sweeter. But if I don't go through those no's,
yes,
I won't ever get to the yes. So I mean, and definitely, like, pray through it, walk through it, because it definitely gets greater.
Thank you. That came to me because one thing I've picked up from you, even being on the phone with you, you're different than most musicians, and I have them in my family, and I've been around them all my life. You're so humble, and you're so welcoming. You're so down to earth. You draw people to you. That's why that was placed in my spirit to have you say that to somebody out there.
Well, bless you for that. I thank you.
Well, here's my final question, and it's a personal question, so hold on to this one, okay? Robert Earl Dean and I, we get ready to go on the road as soon as this COVID is over and take the radio station to all the places that tune in. When we come to your city, where is going to be the best place to go to partake of some holy victuals?
How holy are these victuals?
They got to be so delicious that we just start shouting up in the restaurant or the place.
Man, you know what's funny? There's a place that just opened called True Kitchen. It's a frat brother of mine that he just opened it up. I haven't been there yet. Mm. We're actually going to go for my anniversary next month in November. Mm-hmm. But I keep hearing that it is amazing. So I'm gonna go see what they're talking about. Uh-huh. And I'm gonna let you know. Of course, there's always Sweet Georgia Browns, two partners, or soul food stuff.
Right.
South Dallas Cafe, you know. But I'm trying to back off of that kind of food for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I eat so much of it.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I'm definitely on that. I'm gonna try that True Kitchen. Evidently, they have this lamb chop that's pretty amazing.
Okay, so you said frat. So Robert, what would you guess his frat is?
I would say either
no, you get to pick
I would say
one.
Kappa or Alpha. It's because he has the personality of both.
I think he a cute. You know.
I think Alpha.
Well, where we at, brother?
Kappa Alpha Psi till I die.
Because I'm thinking about going grad.
Grad. Okay, yeah.
Well, brother, man, we go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, we just want to thank you for tuning in and tapping in with us here today. We love your energy. We love your music. We
Wonderful
love
personality.
what you have put in the coffers for people to enjoy. I got a new song up that you sent called Yellow Jacket. And I want you to tell people where they can find you. And then I want you to introduce this song, and we get ready to rock with Yellow Jacket.
All right. So you can find me on the internet, www.ShaunMartinMusic.com. Instagram, Shaun1, SHUNWUN. I had to spell it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course Twitter, Facebook, ShaunMartinMusic.com. Yeah, man, the Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket is a song that I wrote. I actually wrote this song in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Oh wow.
It was a very interesting time. And I just looked out, and these kids were playing, and this melody just came to my head. It's funny because everybody's like, "This sounds like Oh Give Thanks." I guess it does. I wasn't thinking about that. I was watching kids play soccer. I wasn't thinking about it. So, but it's a very nice song. I like it. It brings me it actually brings me a lot of joy. But I also have a memory that's tied to it too. So,
but it's a happy song. It's a happy song,
and I appreciate. Yeah, it is. It's a very happy song. I thank y'all very much for even considering me being on the show. Thanks for having me. And anytime y'all let me know. If y'all come to Dallas, we gonna kick it.
Well, you know why I'm coming, because we got something stirred up. We just waiting for the time to permit.
That's right.
And we're gonna pre-invite you to the IGAM conference. We get ready to announce it very soon.
Yes,
we definitely want you to be there.
We started a movement for independent artists. IGAM, Independent Gospel Artists, Music Matters.
And so we got something happening. It's gonna go down in September of 2021. We'll let you know, and we definitely want to get you on that because you have a wealth of information to give to these artists.
And I want to thank my cousin on here. He's such a great person, Gordon Pope, who was a fellow musician and classmate of his at that particular wonderful high school he talked about, and he hooked us up. And I just thank God for how he's doing all the holy hookups. My cousin and his wife, my cousin Tamika from San Diego.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say shout out to our bro Shaun, his whole entire family, his young soldier that he's getting to spend time with. Until we meet again, my brother, we're gonna listen to some Yellow Jackets right here on GODRadio1.com.